Usually when I start doing these videos, I don't always stick with the games. I almost got to the end credits of Terminator 2, and then I totally forgot about it. I almost beat Ultimate Arena. And I do need to get back to Super Stereo Land, but I keep on dying on those bloody fish. But I will come back to those games. I do try to finish all the games that I play. Sometimes it's not always possible, but thankfully kids games are usually easy to finish. Thomas the Tank Engine 2 is a sequel to Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, of which I've never played. This is sometimes referred to as Thomas's Big Race. This of course is based off the popular 1984 children's Thomas and Friends TV series, which I personally loved as a kid. I believe it's still on television today, however it's all CG now, like a lot of kids shows, and lacks some of the clunkiness from the models which made it great, and probably hard to produce now I think about it. But anyway, enough of that. This particular game was published by Alternative Software and developed by Peakstar in 1993 for the Atari ST. There are also versions of this game for Amiga and DOS. The game sees a small blue engine, Thomas the Tank Engine, having a heated argument with Gordon, who's saying that he is the fastest engine. The Fat Controller, then probably sensing opportunities for some illegal betting and to avoid the brutal engine-on-engine fight which would ensue, decides to hold a contest to decide the fastest one of all. No doubt this would cause massive delays to passengers trying to get home, but hey, as long as these engines have a smug sense of superiority over each other, then all's well that ends well. The title is a 1 to 2 player racing game which allows you to play as either Thomas, Percy, Gordon, Bill, Ben, Toby, James or Bertie the Bus, as they try to reach the end of 4 different courses in the fastest possible time. The game is presented in a split screen mode, with the other screen being the rival you're racing against, and this happens in both 1 and 2 player mode, so you're always playing in a split screen. Being a train, you are restricted to the rails, which means that you have to be careful on which line you are on, as there are other trains or vehicles if you're Bertie in your path, so it's sometimes necessary to wait to get something out of the way. It's also necessary to refuel, as there's usually not enough in the tank to reach to the end of the stage. The game looks harmless enough, with Thomas and his friends being easily recognisable from the TV show originals. In all honesty, developers have done a good job here, with the animation being fluid and there's a reasonable amount of detail in the stage. It certainly never looks like they are simply copy and pasting the backdrops over and over. Control wise, you use the joystick by pointing left and right to move the vehicle. Now, regardless of whether you're driving on the road as Bertie or as one of the trains, you are restricted on where you can go. You are forced to go left and right until you reach a junction, at which point you can switch the rails. This of course is necessary because there are other trains, damaged tracks and general stuff on the line which will slow you down, and you need to be careful of it if you want to beat the harder level. So really, it's kind of a memory game. Overall, Thomas 2 is a simple but harmless game that really doesn't do anything majorly wrong. But it is something that is easily forgettable. It's a very average racer, and won't hold your attention for very long. But nevertheless, let's get on and play this one, so I'm going to play all the courses and just play as a random bunch of the engines. So let's go on with it.